When two elephants fight, one of them naturally wins and the other one loses. Sometimes both of them can be fatally injured, and sometimes both of them just forget about what happened in the past and make peace somehow magically, and forget about everything else and start anew, start afresh. But do they ever, do they even care about what happens to the grass when they trample on it, when they fight on it? Sometimes these elephants, they can make peace, but the grass, it stays trampled forever. Sometimes one wins and the other one loses, but still the grass is trampled. Sometimes both of them loses, still the grass is trampled. And there's nothing we can do to revive the grass. It is the same with people. When two parties or two sides, it can be sides of people, companies, communities, even countries, fight together, do people even care about what happens to the grass, or as in the casualties? Do people even think about what happens to civilians during battles and wars? How many people get killed, injured, lose their lives, their loved ones, their possessions, everything? Today, August 6th, years ago, something like this happened, and that was today is a great day to dwell on this question. Because today, August 6th, years ago, in 1945, something happened, something which is written down in history right now, which caused a lot of grass to be trampled, never to be revived again. Today, years ago, the Hiroshima city in Japan was bombed with the first ever atomic bomb and weapon. So, during the World War II, the United States, Great Britain, China, France, and Russia, this side decided to drop war on the other side, Italy, Germany, and Japan. So back then, the former side, it was a completely large one, and they decided to make sure that the war ends quickly, and they decided to hasten the end of the war. And that is why they decided to fight down Japan. Why don't they just surrender? No, they never backed down. They wanted to end the fight though, because they knew that wars were wasting precious time, money, evolution, ideas, creativity, everything. So they decided to hasten the end of the war. But that does not mean surrendering. They decided to hasten the end of the war by dropping bombs and weapons to force the other team to surrender. And that is how the 509th Composite Group of the United States Army and Air Force came up with an idea. It was filled with sharp minds and creative brains, but they were sadly misused, for not the betterment of the world, but on how to demolish their enemies. And soon, with the brainstorming of the sharp minds, brains, and groups, two weapons were formed: the little boy and the fat man. The little boy was a uranium-infused gun-type fission weapon, and the fat man was a plutonium implosion-type nuclear weapon. These were both deadly and dangerous and could kill hundreds, thousands of people, lakhs, millions, crores, billions, trillions, anyone. It could demolish cities. That is how it was made. The 509th Composite Group in Manhattan, the United States, came up with these two weapons, and they decided to declare war on Japan, just Japan. And they did on July 26, 1945. And no one knew about the little boy and the fat man, the weapons, of course. But they did, and on August 6th, the little boy was deployed right above the city of Hiroshima. City of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were twin cities, which were beautiful and large back then and were corporate capitals of Japan back then. And these cities, especially Hiroshima, today, years ago of course, especially Hiroshima, was a beautiful one, filled with fairy rings and toadstools and beautiful mushrooms, things like that. Was covered in a huge mushroom cloud of atoms, or a nuclear weapon disaster on August 6, 1945, which is today, years ago. Do you know that 200,000 people, more or less, died because of that? And many of them were civilians, women, men, elders, newborns, children, everyone. Civilians, soldiers, members, leaders, everyone. They had no difference, just humans, and they died. If not from the fatal injuries from the atom bomb, they died because of the radiation of the skin. They died by breathing in the mushroom clouds and the polluted air. They died because of all the toxicity and disaster and demolishing nature of the atom bomb, the little boy. And 3 days later, on August 9, Nagasaki was also bombed. These two cities lost everything, possessions, people, and people lost their life. They lost love. They lost materials. They lost everything. They lost hope. And it stayed like that. The grass, it was trampled, and it stayed like that for days, weeks, months, years, centuries, even till now. But now, things have changed. People are much more peaceful and rational than they were at the war. And now, even the people who strived for the fall of Japan is now helping to rebuild the cities of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. But mind you, this happened in 1945. What is happening now in the 2000s? It's the early 2000s, and that happened almost 50 years ago. What's happening now? Well, that is the thing with war. You know, war can destroy things for years, centuries, millennia, everything. It can destroy a person or a land or a city, even forever, even until the end of time, you know. But Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they are fortunate to be rebuilt, to be revived, to be rehabilitated. I am a voluntary messenger of peace. You should be too, because I am sending out the message of peace to you. And you should too, because we do not want another Hiroshima bomb or anything like that to happen. We do not want another little boy or a fat man to be deployed anywhere. We want peace, not war. And that is why I am sharing my message with you of peace. And you should send your message of peace with others. And soon, when the world would be a better place to live in, a peaceful one. I am Shivankari Thankachi, and you are watching Today Years Ago. And today is a great day to start a peaceful life and a betterment of the world. Thank you, and have a peaceful, war-free, safe, and beautiful day.